Welcome to Talent Without Borders, the podcast where I'll celebrate the extraordinary creativity and resilience of international students in Canada. I'm your host Juan, and in this series, I'll share the inspiring stories of students, each one bringing their unique skills, dreams, and perspective. From overcoming the challenges of migration to thriving in their fields, these individuals are proof that talent knows no boundary. Join me as we dive into authentic conversations with these passionate students, exploring their journeys, their aspirations, and the positive impact they're making. This is Talent Without Borders, where the world meets opportunity. Hi, my name is Juan, and I'm here today with...
My name is Erika.
Hi, Erika. Thank you for being here with me.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So I just wanted to ask you first, what is your background like? Where do you come from?
Yes, so I am born and raised in the Philippines, the land of the ocean pearl.
And why do you choose to come to Canada?
Well, initially the plan is to just continue my career back home, but so in the Philippines there is, I would say, like a very competitive, because I'm studying journalism, and there's a competitive industry in journalism. So when the opportunity came to me to go here and study and to be globally competitive, I was like, okay, let's give it a go. Take our shot.
And do you have other options besides Canada, like when you were exploring where to
Yeah,
study?
so the first option actually, Canada was the second. The first option was to go Australia. But I am arachnophobic.
Oh,
I
yeah.
am terrified with spiders. So I'm like, it's either that or extreme cold weather. And I go, let's go. Let's go to Canada.
Yeah, I feel you like it's
Yeah.
for same for me with snakes, and
Yeah.
like, I've seen those videos in Australia, and like nope, not for me.
I can't do it.
Yeah. And do you have any expectations for Canada? Maybe something that you read, or maybe some people told you something about Canada before?
So before applying here back in 2020, I was doing my research and I was like looking at Facebook, communities, Reddit, reading like experiences from other people. And I actually went on Google Maps and actually searched certain communities, like Filipino areas. And I was very surprised that there's one in North York, there's one in Scarborough. So I was like, oh, I could easily adapt and acclimate to Canada because there's a lot of Filipinos. It's going to be easy. But coming here, my expectations did met. I've met a lot of Filipinos and I like engaged with them. And on top of that, Canada is a very diverse country. Like we have people coming in from different parts of the globe, which was a very good experience. Like I experienced things and I was shocked myself because I was like, I never thought I could do that. But with Canada, I was able to.
Yeah, I think that there's a big Filipino. Actually, we met because we have a Filipino friend. So shout out to Leia for this. But yeah, I think that that's like one of the things that people like the most about Canada is that they have this possibility to meet people from all over the world. Because maybe when you go to other countries, like there's going to be, for I don't know, Australia, for example, there might be a lot of Australians there.
Yeah.
But here in Canada, you don't feel like that. You see
Right.
many people from all other
Right, you
countries.
see people from where you came from speaking the same language. And I told this to my mom. Every time I hear the certain dialect that I used to speak from other people, like there's a spark in my heart. Oh my God, my people are here. We're thriving, and we're like adapting, we're growing, we're acclimating to the country. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things because, like, I think that, for example, with the weather is something that many people are afraid of because maybe they live in a tropical country, so it's a big change.
Right.
But then once you're here, like you are able to adapt, so that's
True.
good. So I wanted to ask you, like, from your cultural background, what do you think that have helped you being Filipino in Canada?
Oh, absolutely. Filipinos are known for their resiliency. We were colonized by the Spaniards for 300 plus years, and that taught us to be resilient, to be able to like problem solve. And that characteristic specifically helped me a lot. Our connection with our family, we're very religious and we value family so much, which is why when I came here in Canada, being Filipino, that resiliency, that saying that it's okay, I'm Filipino, I can get through it, it's okay, it's nothing, I'm Filipino, And every year we're hit by almost 28 different typhoons in the span of 12 months. So this 6 months of winter cold, that's
Yeah,
nothing.
that,
You know, we get volcanic eruptions. So I feel like that helped me a lot because I'm able to view the world in a positive. I'm not pessimistic, more optimistic if you get what I mean. That's why they say Filipinos, you can find Filipinos in a desert. And they are, you would see them striving, you know, and they are hard worker. We're hard worker. We love to work, not because we're like, we value money, not that. We value experience and we enjoy life. And that resiliency helped me a lot. I came here, I have nobody, didn't have any family. I was all alone. I lived in residence and I was able to learn and observe mostly. And I told myself every single day, I'm going to get through this. I was homesick. I missed the food. I missed my family. But I was like, you know, this is for a better future. And whatever I can get, like learn here in Canada, this learning, this knowledge, I can share to my cousins, you know, if I decide to go back home and teach. So yeah, being resilient is part of it mostly that helped me.
yeah,
And my
because what you talk about, like, I think that most students, international students, when they come to Canada, they go through that process of being homesick. But I think that what makes it different is how each person is able to adapt to that and
Right.
to react to that. Because maybe for some people, they just think, oh, this is not for me. I just
Right.
want to go home.
Right.
But other people like you understand why you're here
Yeah,
and you're able to make those sacrifices because you know that they're going to be worth it.
exactly.
And with your specific studies, like having a different culture and having a different mindset, how do you think that have helped you with your studies?
Most people doesn't know about this, but in the Philippines, when you start to go to school at an early age, we have 8 subjects a day. Here in Canada, when I came here, we only have 5 subjects. And I was like, that is so little. And I'm like, I used to do 8 more subjects plus extracurricular activities. So I was like, this is easy. But I didn't anticipate it that, okay, it's 5 subjects, but this is the type of work that you're gonna do. So being Filipino and the culture that I have, being a hard worker, hard driven by goals and just pure determination to succeed and to prove something, you come here with a dream. And that helped me a lot. So in my studies, for example, Filipinos are known as the smiley people, right? So that helped me a lot. I am not scared to talk to people. I would be having 5 articles that I have to write in 1 week. And I don't care. I would like approach somebody, hi, my name is Erica. Can I talk to you? And that's like, okay. And surprisingly enough, I would find people expressing themselves without any reservations. And it was amazing. I guess like part of it is like, oh, are you Filipino? Manny Pacquiao, you know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
they know a certain character from the Philippines, and that helped me a lot, I would say.
Yeah, and I think that's like important what you mentioned because not many people like to do that. Like maybe they are afraid that their English is not going to be good,
Right.
so they don't talk a lot to other
Hmm.
people. So the fact that you are able to do that, I think that that's very important
True.
and it says a lot.
That's good.
And something else that I want to ask you is what challenges have you faced since you came to Canada?
Since I came here in Canada, the most I think would be the concept. So, whenever I go talk to people, it's a different way. Like, I would often get this, oh, your English is so good, but you're Filipino. So, I feel like at the very beginning, oh, it's a compliment. It's a good compliment. But I've been here 4 years. And the longer I hear that, people like, your English is good. And like now it's like a question for me, like,
But
why
this is good or not? Yeah, like
yeah, like why is she speaking so good? But she's from the Philippines, you know. So for a time, I thought nothing. It's a compliment, you know. But I did experience racism. First of all, I was doing an article, and they shooed me away because I'm not white. I am a woman in color, and I'm not indigenous. So that's the first struggle, you know. But I'm reporting on women, so there's that micro bias, if you get what I mean. You know,
yeah.
like if a certain demographic like they're like, oh, they're expecting less of you but you're performing more. So for me that challenge was like, okay, I didn't expect that, but then it hit me like people, they are in a box, you know what I mean? And that, I would say that's a challenge because then I have, it's a bad thing for me to have a good thing, if that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like I can express myself good and everything, but for some people it seems like, oh, it's 1 in a million that that girl can speak fluent English and can be literate, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So for me myself, I was like, I took that as a challenge, not because like to degrade myself or anything, but I took that as a challenge that not only I can speak good English, but I can perform perform well and I am like adapting well.
Yeah, and I
That
think
makes sense.
that's one of the problems with immigration, that maybe people have a specific idea of
Yep.
what it looks like. Maybe they're thinking about people who barely speak the language, and that they are going to do basic work, but it's much broader than that. Like you have people like you that you understand the language, whether because you knew how to speak it before you came to Canada or because you've
You
been
studied.
here for
Yeah.
4 years, so you're obviously going to learn the language. It's part of like the process.
Exactly, exactly. Another challenges would be my experience with like the government. Let's say because the government is always changing, right?
Yeah.
Requirements are always changing. Before, as soon as I came here, we were allowed to work 40 hours per week, and this is to accommodate the work shortage here in Canada. But then last year they put it back to 20 hours, so that hit me really hard. And I'm fortunate because I have my family to support me. But I was thinking and I was talking to people, right? There are other international students that doesn't rely on anybody. And on top of paying 3 times more of like tuitions,
Yeah.
they have to pay for like the rent. And if you're working just 20 hours a week on top of everything, how are you going to survive? You know what I mean? So that hit me. But that taught me a lot that I can budget my money. And those are the challenges. You learn to adapt. You learn to take that and be a problem solver. It's something if you can fix it, right? You cannot focus on something you can't fix anymore. Like I cannot go to Mac Miller and be like, "Hey, buddy, come on, give me some leeway
Yeah.
here," right? So it's like
Many people would like to do that. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, and I think that they changed that recently. I think they increased it a little bit to 24 hours, but
Yeah.
still many people
Yeah.
complain because, I mean, it's not fair like
it's
for
not
us.
fair.
You're right. And you've been here for 4 years and you've done a lot with your program and other type of work. What is your most, like, the work that you're proud of the most?
Recently, because I'm doing my thesis right now, and the most work that I've done that I'm very proud of is talking and finding out this Filipino journalist in Vancouver. I recently met with him last week, 2 weeks ago. I went to Vancouver, and because I'm doing my thesis on the resiliency of Filipino nurses here in Canada. But this Filipino journalist, Joseph Lopez, he was able to find out that the first Filipino came here in Canada during the 1800s, during the Spanish colonization. And I was very proud of that because I didn't know as well. I thought that nurses, Filipinos first migrated in Canada back in the 60s, 50s. But that means so much because during that hardship time, colonizers on our land, one Filipino came and proved he stayed in Vancouver and he was able to adapt and speak English and be a part of the community and the society. So that was a very I would say I'm very proud of that just because I was able to connect and I was able to find it's for me the things that I've done that I'm proud of, it's the learning that I got and that I'm able to share that to other people. Now, when I meet Filipinos, I go talk to my classmates, hey, I found this. And they were like, wow. And that sense of like fulfillment when you can share your knowledge to other people, it's absolutely amazing. Yeah, and on top of work, I was able to do fundraiser for David Suzuki. It's an environmental organization. And I'm a firm believer that we humans, we need to act up now. Like global warming, I believe in all that stuff. And I'm very proud of that because I was able to, help my neighbors, my roommates. Hey, we have to segregate our garbage. It's not nothing. So mostly that's I'm very proud of. Just sharing whatever I can get to other people.
Yeah, and I think that is very important, like what you're doing, because on one hand, you're trying to maybe get to know more about the Filipino culture, because maybe some people or even the Filipinos don't know about how is
Exactly.
the culture of their country here in Canada.
Yeah.
So that's good what you're doing. And then on the other hand, you're trying to help a problem that is very important right now,
Yeah.
that many people maybe are not taking that seriously.
Disregarding it, yeah.
And another question that I wanted to ask you is, how do you see your future here ongoing in Canada after
So
you finish your
after I
studies?
finish my studies, I see my future here. I want to say, and I often tell this to my mom. After I graduate, I get my postgraduate work permit. I'm gonna work on a radio station. I'm not gonna be picky, I'm gonna work to a field that I'm very comfortable sharing. Maybe a radio, maybe CBC. Who knows? Then I'm gonna get my PR. I might go home, teach a few things to like Filipino aspiring journalist. So my life I see here in Canada, I would say, I mean, it's a long shot, but I really want to be a journalist and I want to share like my talent, skills, and I want to help people govern themselves. And I want to bring my family here, of course, and just like help people, help my cousin go here, help my sister come here, and just like, one big happy family in Canada and Winter Storm.
Yeah, because you're alone here. Like
Yeah.
you don't have any type
Yeah.
of family here.
No.
Okay, so yeah, I can see what that
Yeah.
would be. I think that that's what many of us
Yeah.
like people having familiars
Yeah.
with us. And it's good that you're pursuing that because I've done some work as a journalist also, and I understand that here in Canada is pretty difficult. It's like a
yeah.
really closed industry, especially like for example, I like sports journalism, so it's
That's
good
really
that you're
good point.
battling and you're going to do it for us, like you're going to
Yes.
make it.
Thank you.
And for those who are Canadian, what is your message for them regarding immigration? How do you think that they should see immigration?
So for Canadians, I don't actually have a lot of Canadian friends, but I would say Canadians should see immigration as a beautiful thing. And I say this in two particular things. Why? Number one is it doesn't matter if like what color am I. We're all human beings. That's why earlier I said we have to be united. The only reason why we're so like barricaded is because of our language, but you see, I love bachata. I listen to Latin music. I love the culture. The only thing is I can fully speak Spanish, but all of my friends are Latinos. So we see that. We're not different. So I feel like Canadians should see immigration as a good thing. I'm sorry, what's your background?
I'm Latin. I'm from Venezuela.
Oh,
Yeah, so
¿Cómo
yeah,
estás?
there you go. Yeah.
So there you go. Like you're Colombian or you're Venezuelan. I'm Filipino. You know what I mean? It's a merge. I feel like Canadians should look at it as a merge. We're being united as one. Number two, Canadians should look at immigration as a tool. We're gapping the bridges. We are no longer, I can't cross the Mexico border. We're one. We're gapping those. We're filling up those gaps that, I cannot understand why Colombians drink so much coffee at an early age. But rather, as a Canadian, you have the best coffee. So let's gap those bridges. Canadians should look at immigration as a tool, not only for revenue because we pay 3 times more, but like, we're bridging together. We're holding each other's hands and like we're coexisting, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if it's in Canada, Philippines, Venezuela, Colombia. You know what I mean? We're building a world that's going to be better for the next generation, which this is the reason why I love Canada, because it's so diverse.
Yeah.
I know something about like jerk chicken. I know something about, bachata and everything. And it's amazing. Doesn't it make you happy that, so
When
it's like,
others know about your culture, like you
Exactly.
feel good because you feel
Right?
like, okay,
There's
you
a
feel a
sense
little
of-
bit more at home, if you could say.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
because
I'm
I think
there.
that there's like also like a political problem with immigration. So I think that is another part of the
Right.
problem. But I think it is important to like be positive about immigration and understand the good things that can bring to the country. It's not like feeling, these people are invading us, but to see like what these people can bring to us and like
Exactly.
how can we grow together to
As
make the
one.
country better.
Right? And we can learn from each other. Isn't that amazing? Wouldn't you want to learn from other people, like, for their culture? Maybe they did something good that, maybe I can apply that to the Philippines. And, maybe it could help us, maybe not, but we learn. So, yeah, I think you're right, and absolutely like what you said.
Yeah. And the last question is for international students, what advice will you give to them for those people who are planning to come to Canada?
Well, first, you have to have a very strong heart. You have to know deep inside that you're will and you're determined. Because you cannot come here spend thousands of dollars and after your first semester you're failing one of your subjects, it's too cold, your butt freezes and you want to go home. No, baby. You have to stand firm and be like, you have to know before stepping in that plane that this is what you want. That's the first goal. You have to know what you want. Second, my advice is don't give up tomorrow. If today was hard, tell yourself, I'm going to give up tomorrow. And that day, if your day, you're still having a bad day, give up tomorrow. That's my mantra. I'll give up tomorrow. You know what? I'll give up tomorrow. By the end of the 365 days, you're like, I survived the year by saying give up tomorrow. You know, whenever you're having a bad day, give up tomorrow. Drink coffee, drink tea, work out, you know, do something that you will make you feel better. And I feel like for international students, this is what they have to have in order to, like, you know, be adaptable, to fight struggles, challenges. Don't focus on the things that you can fix. You cannot change the requirements. Focus on the things that you can. So I feel like international students, they need to know what they want. They need to not give up, and they need to just don't be shy. Don't be shy. Talk to people, ask them, and you have to be will driven.
Yeah, I think it's for me it's very interesting to talk to different people and to also bring the positive side
Right.
because I think that that's what's going to make other people
Exactly.
understand like they can make it. Like it
Right.
doesn't have to be like that. I understand that everyone is going to
Yeah.
feel homesick at some point because I think it's normal, but it's also important to understand that there is more than that and
Right.
that you can actually make it if
Absolutely.
you just being persistent.
Exactly. I like that word, persistent.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So thank you, Erika, very much. It was a
No
really fun talk,
problem.
and I
Thank
get to
you.
know a lot about you, and like you really have a strong heart. So I really
Thank
enjoy
you.
talking
Thank
to
you for having me. It's really good. Thank you for tuning into today's episode of Talent Without Borders. I hope you enjoy hearing the incredible stories of international students who are shaping their future and making a positive impact in Canada. If you're inspired by the journey, be sure to follow along with the project for more stories and insight. You can listen to the full podcast series on YouTube, and for more details, head over to the dedicated project page on my portfolio. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to share it with others and spread the word about the amazing talent from all around the world. Stay connected, stay inspired, and keep supporting the creativity and aspirations of students everywhere. I'm Juan, and until next time.